Hi, this is Dean Parrish. You're listening to Diane's Request on Wrightington's Hospital Radio.
If you would like to contact the station for any reason, feel free to use the phone line on 01257 252 435. Alternatively, you can use the internal number 6361 with the permission of the staff. Or finally, you can text us on 079 091 97345.
Hi, I'm Dean Parrish. I'm on my way to Wrightington's Hospital Radio.
And that's where you should be listening to us right now. Good evening, welcome. Thank you to Jimmy for starting the show for me. I've not got my voice back. Help! I may lose my voice a little later on, but don't worry about it. We can get through it one way or another. In the studio, we've got Bill Hart, who'll be talking about the Lanky Cats very, very soon. We've also got Beth. Hello, Beth.
Hello.
And she's going to be hopefully joining us very soon. Got Jimmy there. Thank you, Jimmy, for starting the show off.
Yeah.
We've also got Beth's dad as well. Hello.
Because I'm a little baby. I can't be alone yet.
So anyway, we've got a studio full.
The phone line on 01257 252 435. Alternatively, you can use the internal number 6361 with the permission of the staff. Or finally, you can text us on 079 091 97345.
Brilliant. That's how to contact the show tonight. Tuesday evening, you listen to Hospital Writing Radio. And as I said earlier on, in the studio we have Bill Hart from the Lanky Cats. Good evening, Bill.
Good evening. Nice to be here again.
Better off put your microphone up. Yeah, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
If you don't know Bill, he was here about 6 weeks ago, weren't you?
I think it was that, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
A lot's happened since then, hasn't it?
Yeah, we had a good time that night as well.
It was. Well, the interview's on the internet now, isn't it?
Aye, yeah.
Yeah, with pictures.
Yeah, that particular show, he actually recorded it for me and then passed it all down the electronic ether space, and we put it on my the website, which is the Lanky Cats website, www.lankycats with 2 Ks, LANKYKATS and .com, and there it is. If you want to go and listen to it, it's all there in its full glory. Thanks, and thanks for doing that for me, Diane.
Oh, it was brilliant. This one it's recording as well. It is recording, so that can go on the site as well. Well, a lot Sam since last time. I've been up to the Lanky Cats a few times, and I've actually got involved with helping out with the sound.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And I'm really enjoying it. It's fantastic.
I know. That's what it's all about, Lanky Cats. It's not just like a bunch of people putting a show on for everybody else. You come and you become part of the show. And what you, Diane, have brought to Lanky Cats is your amazing skills in sound engineering. And your ear for good sound was evident from the word go. We've had 2 very good people handling this for us, putting the rig together. As you know, before we came on air, I explained to you about how Lanky Cats works, and that we charge £1 on the door. We to everybody, including the musicians. Now the musicians just come along with their guitars and drumsticks. That's all they need. No hugging of heavy gear, no amplifiers, drum kits, anything. All that is provided, but we've had to pay for it somehow. So, what we've done, we've organised little teams of people, and they're unofficial, but they just get on with it. And we had a little team of sound engineers, and they did their best, and they put this rig together, and we spent some money getting this together and a mixer and so on. And we got several people who involved themselves with providing speakers that they no longer needed, microphone stands and things like that. So we cobbled it all together virtually from the beginning. And of course, once you move on and move into something like this, soon you start to kind of you want to become better.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And that's when you arrived, Diane. And I can't say, really, listeners out there, she's so good at what she does. And we at Lanky Cats are so proud and we're so lucky to have you there, tweaking and pushing buttons just like you are now. And you're doing it for Lanky Cats. But this is live music, of course, with live bands playing guitars, drums and all the rest of it. So I'm looking forward the next few months to really getting down to a little bit of work with
Yes.
you and putting it and making it and getting it all that little bit better.
I'm so pleased to be part of it. I really am. I feel honoured to be part of it. because I think it's an amazing thing you've set up there. Like from when I first come across your site, was on 70s Bolton, and I just thought, no, this looks interesting, talking about local bands. I'll go on the link. And that first week, I must have spent actually hours going through Lanky Cats and Lanky Beat, all the stuff that you've put on there and people have sent you. It's just incredible for you to collate it all together and like never done a website before in your life and doing that website, and it works incredible. It's fantastic how you've done it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very I mean, Lanky Beat was the starting point. I just had a band in the 60s, like a million other young lads like myself, and we just did it, got on with it and enjoyed it, and that's passed into history, as it were. And now I've got kind of in my latter years, and looking back, I found that there wasn't much information about bands.
Not much, there's nothing.
There was nothing, yes, exactly. There might be an old Wigan Observer in Wigan Museum that might say something about the room at the top.
Yeah.
Something like that. And that's it, you've done. And all these hundreds of lads all over Lancashire, and particularly places like Wigan. There was more bands in Wigan than anywhere else in Lancashire, apart from Liverpool and Manchester, of course. But and that's when it started. So I started to I just put some stuff on for my own band to begin with, and started to learn how to build a website. And then it just like Topsy, it grew and grew and grew. And there's nearly 300 bands on there now.
It's unbelievable. We've still more bands to put on, haven't we?
And they're coming in weekly. More bands, all from Lancashire, all from Lankyland. And so the next obvious progression was to form Lanky Cats, because all I was getting were people saying, "You've so fired me up. I've just kind of can't believe I want to get my old band back together." And they're forming their old bands and getting together with people they've never met before at Lanky Cats. With 2 scratch bands at Lanky Cats. We call them scratch bands because the musicians are kind of not attached anymore to bands.
Yes.
And they just got together, knocked a few chords out in at home in garage, and then came up to Lanky Cats and performed it.
Is that the Bedrocks and the Blue Beats?
And Jammy Cats, yeah.
And Jammy Cats?
Yeah.
Both incredible bands.
Yeah. Just nice to, the Bedrocks, what a name. I mean, the Bedrocks of Lanky Cats. I mean, they are there week in, week out, every other week. We meet every first and third Thursday.
Yes.
But they're there, and they're setting gear up from 7 o'clock in the evening, and after midnight, they're putting it all away, and they've got smiles on their faces like Cheshire Cats, because they've just been on stage and performed, just like they did 40 and 50 years ago.
Fantastic. There's no words for it. You have to come and see it. The actual magic that comes over with the atmosphere.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Like the first week I went, there was Farron from Flamingos. He was on, and he'd done a very good show. But it was a typical Liverpudlian on stage in Wigan. And his humour didn't quite fit, unfortunately.
No.
But if you go to Liverpool a lot, that's in all the clubs around Liverpool. That's how it actually is around Liverpool.
Yeah. Well, we're very honoured to have people like Farron.
Oh, you're definitely.
Wanting to come and play. I mean, he's done it. He's done the lot.
It's incredible.
I know. Farron Flamingos made a record in the 60s that Brian Poole covered. What was it? What was it called?
Do you love me?
Yeah, Do You Love Me? That's right. And Farron covered that, and Farron Flamingos, and it was a better version.
Yeah.
And Farron's band, Decca, I think it was Decca Records.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
They had the 2 records in front of them, and they said, Farron's his best one. Brian Poole's not quite as good, but because Brian Poole comes from London, we're fed up of Liverpool bands now with the Beatles and all the rest of it. We're going to pick Brian Poole and the Tremolos. And that's what happened to Farron. You talk about, his claim to fame would have been just like Brian Poole. And that's how fickle this business is, isn't it?
Oh, it is. 1 minute in this bit, you can be at the top of the table 1 second. The next thing, you're an has-been.
Absolutely.
And you don't know what's happened because you wake up overnight, you're an has-been.
Yeah.
People are not buying the records anymore.
Yeah.
But some of the bands in Liverpool, I mean, I've been over there, I've worked with people like Jeff Nugent with the Undertakers.
Yeah.
I've done the sound for them. They what a guy.
He's great, Jeff. I've met him a few times. He's coming to Lanky Cats. He's bringing the Undertakers shortly. I don't know when yet, but this is what happened. Is happening at Lanky Cats. People are banging the door down to try and get on and play. And
that's what it should be with something like that.
Yeah, I mean, not as well as scratch bands and local bands. We've got bands coming from all over now, particularly from Liverpool. I had a guy ring me from Denmark last week. And he's bringing his band over and doing a short UK tour. And guess what? On the 5th of July, Thursday night, he's on Lanky Cats.
Excellent.
And they're called Chimbo's Revival. And this guy, if you've ever seen a picture of Bill Haley, God bless him, rock and roll man.
With a kiss
rock
curl.
Around the clock. This guy's got a kiss curl. He has a kiss curl. And I'm not joking. He looks amazing on the website.
Oh, fantastic!
And I've spoken to him, and he's superb English. Of course, haven't they all, the Europeans?
Well, in Scandinavia, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I know.
It's ridiculous. They speak better English than we do.
Anyway, he's coming over to grace us, and on July the 5th, we have another guest band from Yorkshire called The Defenders, as he likes to proudly proclaim himself, the guy who runs it, the Deaf Enders.
Yes.
So, see, that's two top bands, as well as the scratch bands, as well as the Bedrocks, as well as the Jammy Cats, all on the same night. And that's the 5th of
That's
July.
going to be a very interesting night, isn't it?
It certainly is, because we have to pack them all in, Diane, and get them in, on, off, in, on, off.
Well, I think Keith does a very good job of that.
Oh, he does.
Put the diamonds to Keith. He'll tell me what's happening.
Yeah.
Then I know when to mute the microphones.
Yeah.
So when you're moving stuff around, it's not boom, bang, and I can put the background music on.
Yeah, Keith Moore we're talking about.
Yes.
And he really does pull a show together. He really can handle a show. Puts it together, and he gives a few songs of his own at the end.
Yes.
He's amazing guy. Amazing.
Yeah. Well, all the band are amazing. Like, for instance, Mick. What a guy, when you talk to him, it's so interesting to talk to.
Mick Hannon,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Been there, done that, and
Yeah.
his feet are firmly on the ground.
Absolutely. And lead singer in the Bedrocks.
Yeah.
And for me, he looks like Liam Gallagher's dad on stage.
But he opens his mouth and what a vocalist.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Oh, these guys can do it. Yeah.
Then you've got Mitch on guitar, got Keith on guitar.
Yeah, that's right. Keith Wright, Mitch Mitchinson, and on drums we've got Roy Davis.
Yeah.
And absolutely excellent musicians. I'm a drummer, and I keep watching Roy, and he's just getting better and better and better. And he's not been doing it for so long, and they've come back, and they're really, really relaxing and loosening up, and they're producing some magical stuff now, these guys.
Oh, they are.
And it's a treat now. I'm so proud of what everybody is doing, and they're so much. They're so happy. They're all going home with smiles on their faces at the end of the night, completely fulfilled, and can't wait for another 2 weeks to get back and do it all over again.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Like
we're here this Thursday.
Yeah, it's early morning for me, but I still look forward to it.
Yeah. It's we've got another band called Vintage on this. They're the guest band on this Thursday night, and hopefully I'll be getting up there as well. I'm trying to get my mate over from Salford. He lives in Salford. He's a guitar player called Jack, and me and Jack work together as Hart Carney. I'm Bill Hart, he's Jack Carney, and we're putting a CD together, and we've been playing for 30 years, and we just love it. And I'm hoping we can get Jack up on Thursday night to complement the band called Vintage.
Oh, it'll be fantastic, won't it? I'm looking forward to it already.
I know.
I really am. I just think it's amazing the way it's just took off. It's like you're clinging onto it, trying to keep it together. It's just accelerating, isn't it?
It is. It's
really
growing
is.
and growing.
The atmosphere in there is unbelievable. I've got to give it. Anyway, what we'll do, we'll play a record, and we'll come back and tell them a bit about the tavern.
Right.
The cavern, sorry.
Fantastic.
Tavern. What am I going on about the tavern?
The cavern.
Going on about the cavern, and I said I'd be losing my voice again, didn't I?
That's the cavern in Liverpool, folks.
And we're talking about that right after this.
Hi, this is Dean Parrish. You're listening to Diane's Request on Wrightington's Hospital Radio.
Two. That's it. It's finished. That took me by surprise then. How pretty though, but I forgot all about it. Yeah, it's supposed to start about talking to the cavern, on about bands and everything, getting back together. The problem is these days, where do bands play? Because there's so few places compared to what it was like 10 years ago even. So many places, like venues in Wigan, a big venue in Wigan, there isn't one.
I know. No,
Like, there was two good venues up to about 1981, then there was one after that, because there was Wigan Casino, which is an incredible venue, putting bands on, and there was the Ritz.
Yep.
Then the Ritz, 78 changed into a three-place theatre. It's only like Theatre 1 you could actually put bands on, and the casino got demolished, which left very few places. The Queen's Hall was an incredible place in Wigan, but that's gone.
Has it really? I didn't know
Another
that.
big part at the back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's been demolished now.
Oh,
That
I
used to
didn't
hold
know that.
2,000 people.
That's right. That's right.
That's gone.
Yeah.
The only place in Wigan as holds any numbers, literally, is DW Stadium.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's 750 there, I think, under the South Stand.
That's right.
And
that's right.
that's where we have the Northern Soul things in there now.
Right, yeah.
But there's just... Oh, and the Grand Arcade where we've done the Northern Soul as well. That's
Right.
been an issue.
Right, yeah.
But there's not the venues.
No.
They're rating about 10 clubs a week closing down in Lancashire.
Is that right?
And about 30 pubs.
So where do all these musicians play?
Well, a lot of
I
them
know.
are packed in, haven't they?
Where do they play? I mean, we started in pubs, back room of a pub,
Yeah.
a band, and that was it.
Everybody
And then
did.
We came out of there into the youth clubs.
Yeah.
Comet Youth Club in Wigan, different ones in Lower Ince and places like that. And then we played, then our first big venue was Ince Public Hall.
With a very bouncy floor.
What?
It's only walks across the floor that you end up seasick.
So then we start, getting the bigger venues wow, Wigan Emp. What a place that is, and then the Court Hall and places like that.
Yeah.
They're massive. Well, they were the dance halls, weren't they? They
certainly
were
were, yeah.
born out of the 1920s
Yeah.
and 30s and thrived in the war years and afterwards. And then, of course, the 50s was their heyday with the big bands, and then we moved into the rock and roll era. Mid-50s started to make its mark with Bill Haley and the Comets and bands like that. And then all of a sudden it was just wall-to-wall rock and roll everywhere you went. And of course they had the mix. I remember the mix of the bands. They were called groups then.
Yeah.
There were beat groups, and we used to play with the resident orchestra, and in this case Bill Blackledge Orchestra. I remember well. I know Bill very well, and he, with his band, used to play. One in effect was the main star of the show, if you like, and the bands were the kind of support.
Yeah.
And that was how it worked. And so you'd have the ballroom dancing, and then you'd have the beat group coming on.
Yes.
And that's how it worked to begin with. And then they found out that the orchestra wasn't quite so popular, and these young kids were all young kids, were all teenagers.
They wanted to bop, didn't they?
Yeah, they want to bop and rock and roll and, what have you. And so they started putting two bands on, and sadly, the likes of Bill Blackledge and his orchestra and many others, sadly, it was the end of the line for them. And it's certainly in the big venues that you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And across the road, of course, was the Ritz,
Yes.
which is a cinema. That's
Yes.
predominantly what it is. And occasionally using that massive soundstage to put major shows on,
Yes.
including the Beatles. What was the date, Diane? Did you say?
It was 13th of October 1963.
Goodness me.
And Mary Wells was on support.
That's right. Well, I was there on the back row in what used to call the Gods. Back row of the Gods. It was unbelievable. It was foggy up there.
Well, I know
It was foggy
exactly.
yeah.
I know where I was that night as well. I was at home in nappies on my dad's knee, probably. I was only born the July 62. I was born, so I was only like 15 months old.
The first time and the only time I ever saw the Beatles live. And
I'd love to have seen them.
I'd love to have seen them too. Yeah. And I mean, we heard of places like the Cavern, and none of us really knew what it was or what it. But this used to. I had a mate who once went down the Cavern and came back telling us all these weird stories about going down to this basement, and it was dark, and it smelled, and the sweat was dripping off the walls, and it had these incredible bands making these wonderful noises. He said, and he was really going on and on and on about it, and that was the first I'd ever heard of places like the Cavern, and these were tiny venues, older than 100, 150 people, and they're all shoulder to shoulder.
Yes.
Not sat down in comfort like you are in the Ritz.
Yeah, and it was a very sweaty place as well, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
But I'd still love to have gone there.
I love to have gone there as well. Yeah.
Talking of the Cavern, where was we on Sunday?
Where were we on Sunday? Lanky Cats did the Cavern. 6 lanky bands on at the Cavern on Sunday afternoon, and we had a ball. It was an amazing afternoon, wasn't it?
It was incredible. It wasn't just good. It was amazing.
You tell me. I mean, I organised it, Diane, and
it's one of the best afternoons.
You tell me what.
I went with my friend Anita.
Yeah.
And went over on the train. We stopped some food on the way, and then we got there around about 1:25, something like that.
Yeah.
We seen you and walked in. We found a seat, sat down, got a drink. The show started at 2 o'clock, and it was non-stop till 6 o'clock. And I loved every minute of it.
Great stuff.
Like, instead of me being into the music and everything, I go to some place and I find, it's a bit boring this, let's move on. I can honestly say it's one of the best afternoons I've had in a long, long time.
Right.
It was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. And the thing of it for me was when you'd done the last spot, when you was on stage and you'd done Hey Jude, and a lot of people came on stage singing along with you. I thought that was incredible to capture that atmosphere then. It was electric.
Absolutely.
Like,
fantastic.
literally, I had goosebumps.
It's so nice to get that kind of feedback, because that's what Lanky Cats is all about. Apart from playing at the Unity, as we do on every first and third of the month, we want to take the show on the road and show off a bit.
Definitely.
And we're better to take it to the world famous Cavern Club. And I had this twinkle in my eye about the Cavern Club ever since I first played there. And that was in 2004. And there's a story behind that, and I hope you'll bear with me.
Carry on, you tell us the story.
Well, I'm walking along Matthew Street in Liverpool, and I'd heard a rumour that my old band, that his name was Tinfoil. One of the names that we had was the Shims, SHYMS, and then I left and joined Mike Hurst and the Trekkers from Preston, and then they changed their name, the Shims changed the name to Tinfoil. So then shortly after that, things move on, and I rejoined Tinfoil in about 1970-something, 1970, 71, something like that. I was only with them a short time, but during that time, we got a booking at the Cavern. And nobody really thought much of it, because, let's face it, 1970 and the Cavern didn't quite seem quite so good as 1964 and the Cavern.
Yeah.
It had kind of peaked.
Yeah.
And it was on a decline. As history will show, it didn't last very long. It finished in 1973 and shut down.
Yes.
But 1970, 71, when I was there, and we got a Thursday night, play at the Cavern Club, lads. Get down there, you pick up £10.50, I think it was, in all money, and that's your gig for tonight. So on the Thursday afternoon, for some reason or other, we should have been playing on the Thursday night, we got cancelled.
Oh.
And we didn't get a reason why we got cancelled, but, you accept these things.
Yes.
You just take it in your stride. And the agent, William Leyland, from LE Enterprises, said to us, don't worry, you'll be going back in a couple of weeks. And we didn't go back. And so we never got to play at the Cavern.
Well, that must have been heartbreaking, that.
It was. But, we're young lads, we get over it. So, a few years ago, 2004, I was walking down Matthew Street, and the famous Cavern bricks in the wall?
Yes.
Cavern Club Wall of Fame, as it's called.
Yes.
There's 1,801 bricks in that wall, so I'm told.
Yes.
I'm not counted on myself. And that means there's 1,801 bands named on those bricks that played in the Cavern Club before 1973.
Yeah.
And I looked up and I found my band's name, Tinfoil. And I thought, we didn't play here. We got cancelled, but we never played. So my little brain got working on it, and I thought to myself, can we put that matter right?
I knew exactly what you were thinking then.
Did you? Are you in front of me?
I
thought you might have been. So guess what? I rang up the Cavern Club manager. I got to speak to Bill Heckle, the manager. He's current manager at the moment as well. And I said, we've got a brick in the wall and we never played at the Cavern. He said, oh, well, it'll have to come out then. I said, you've got to be joking. Liverpool humour, Scousers.
Yeah.
Liverpool humour, winding me up.
Yes.
And I said, well, what about putting history right and booking Tinfoil to play that gig that they never played in the first place 34 years later? And we went on between Christmas and New Year, I think 2004, and we played that gig. Tinfoil played that gig. So that was my first ever time I played at the Cavern.
How did it feel to actually play
So it was like whoopee. Absolutely unbelievable.
An ambition.
And I've never felt so special in all my life.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's been with me forever. And when I formed Lanky Cats, which was it's not even a year yet, not even a year old, what's one of the first things I wanted to do is take all the Lanky Cats, the musicians, to the Cavern Club. The fact that some of them played there, but lots hadn't, had never had the opportunity, I thought, let's put that matter right as well. And that's what we did on Sunday.
Well, it was incredible. It came off very well, and all I can say is well done for putting all that together, because it was amazing.
It was.
Like, it's happening again. The next year you're going to do it again.
Yeah.
And also, if you're listening, you'd like to come along to that, we'll keep you posted on dates here, etc. Bill will be coming in, tell you a bit more about that in a few minutes. But honestly, it's one of those afternoons that's amazing, and it's something I want to miss for anything. If I had a broken leg, I'd have got there one way or another.
I know.
I was not going to miss that.
I know. If you love rock and roll, Cavern is the place. I mean, and don't be intimidated by the fact that it's perhaps you've had this myth about it not being the same place. It's not quite the same place, but I'll tell you what,
isn't it?
I'll tell you what. You tell me the difference between that and the same place, except it doesn't smell quite so bad as it used to.
Whereabouts was the original cavern from that?
The Cavern, when we went into the Cavern,
yes.
You noticed that you turned left after you'd come down the staircase,
yes.
And you're in the main vaulted ceiling area.
Yes.
Right, well, the original Cavern was straight on.
Right, and what's...
So they've turned it at right angles.
Yeah.
Yeah, to what it used to be. Right. So the actual stage is not quite where it used to be.
But the actual entrance is?
But the entrances are just a bit... Well, the old entrance, a bit lower down.
Yes.
Towards the middle of the Cavern room, if you like.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the atmosphere in there on Sunday was fantastic.
Oh, wasn't it?
Everybody got behind the bands, and the bands picked up on that, and they were amazing.
Yeah, it was...
Like Jammy Cats. Then they'd relaxed by then. They didn't feel so intimidated being at the Cavern Club. And they were so relaxed, and it all came together so well.
Yeah.
It was. I can't put it over how much I enjoyed that.
I know. It's lovely to see all these lovely smiling faces. That everybody was lit up, whether they were performing or listening. It was just a magical afternoon. I loved watching you all react to it all, and because I knew that thrill I got in 2004 when I went there. You were getting that as well.
It was fun. It really was good. And we're actually in the Paul McCartney stage, weren't we?
We were on God bless old Paul McCartney. It was Paul McCartney stage, and he's happy birthday, Paul. He's 70.
Yes,
isn't he? Was it yesterday?
Yes, yesterday.
Yesterday.
I hope I'm that good looking when I'm 70.
I know.
It looks amazing, doesn't it?
I know. He's old enough to be my granddad.
I hate him enough looking.
I know.
He looks younger than me.
I know. Oh.
But like being next to his guitar as well.
Oh yeah, that the Cavern guitar.
There's a bit of story for you and that guitar as well, isn't there?
There is.
You've held it.
Yes. I've my guitar exhibition that I held 2 years ago in Liverpool, celebrating and commemorating Merseysound.
Yes.
I collected 100 guitars together, and because I knew Bill Heckle from 2004, I rang him up and I said, "Can you supply any guitars for me to put my exhibition on?" He said, "No problem. Hold me back," he said. And guess what? He says, "You can have the McCartney guitar."
Whoa!
The Hofner bass, and it actually belongs to the Cavern, that guitar.
Yes, it stays
when
underneath
Paul
there.
McCartney played there in 1999, he didn't actually use that guitar, but it was in the dressing room, and he actually picked it up and gave it. But his guitar technician, who he carries around guitars with him,
Yes.
he has a dozen of these. a lot of people know this, and his guitar technician picks one of the dozen guitars up and checks it for him, and then gives it to him to play.
Yes. All these top bands have a guitar tech with them now, don't they?
Yeah.
They've about, side of the stage, they have about 12, 15 guitars, and as soon as one comes off, it's on the bench and it's being restrung and everything.
Yes, that's right. So that guitar in the Cavern, he signed it as well.
Yes.
He lent it to me. It's worth 50 grand, that.
Easily.
That's what it's insured for anyway. So
And
the Cavern, and he lent it to me, and I'm running around Liverpool in the back. It's in the back of my car. It's in the back of my car, and I took it down to the exhibition, which was it was held at the Beatles Story. Right on the promenade, on the should I say the pier head, not the promenade, or the pier head, the new building, and it was I held
the funny
exhibition.
shaped one. It goes like a wedge
That's
shape.
right. Well, I held the guitar exhibition in there, and of course it was pride and joy, wasn't it? It was the centre of
I can
attention.
imagine.
But the other guitars were Status Quo guitars, Bo Diddley, Donovan. There was. What's his name out of Queen?
Brian May.
Rolling Stones. Was it Roger Taylor? Not Roger Taylor.
That's Queen Roger Taylor.
No, that's right. But anyway, different guitars from different people. And the Cavern Club lent me 11 guitars, all made famous by different people. And they were the stars of my exhibition, of course, and it went very well. But going back to the Cavern, I have such fond memories now of the Cavern, particularly now, seeing all those people who came along to support, all those musicians, the families and friends who came down. It was stunning. Just watching you all come in and walk through the door.
Fantastic.
I'm going, wow, because you never know these things are going to turn out.
No, you don't. It's just like, you've got to look at the public reaction.
Yeah, it's...
I'll just play some music and we're back with Bill in just a few minutes.
Little children, you better not tell on me. can't tell what you see. And if you're good, I'll give you candy and a quarter. If you're quiet, like you ought to be, and keep a secret with me. I wish they would go away, little children. Now why ain't you playing outside? I'm asking you can't fool me, 'cause I'm gonna know if you hide and try to peep. I'm gonna treat you to a movie. Stop your giggling, children, do be nice, like little sugars and spice. You saw me kissing your sister, you saw me holding her hand, but if you snitch to your mother, your father won't understand. I wish they would take a nap, little children. Now why don't you go bye-bye? Go anywhere, little children. I know you would go if you tried. Go up the stairs, me and your sister will go and say, how can I kiss her when I'm ready to? With little children like you around, I wonder what can I do around little children like you.
Hi, this is Dean Parrish. You're listening to Diane's Request on Wrightington's Hospital Radio.
If you would like to contact the station for any reason, feel free to use the phone line on 01257 252 435. Alternatively, you can use the internal number 6361 with the permission of the staff. Or finally, you can text us on 079 091 97345.
Superb sounds, the Human League there, back to 1981, the album Durr, and Don't You Want Me, and my voice is getting a lot worse. And in the studio with me is Bill. We've been talking for a while and we're still enjoying the conversation. Unbelievable, some of the things that Bill's got up to. Around about the place over in Liverpool and putting Paul McCartney's guitar on display.
I know, yeah, that's right. And, what can you say about Paul McCartney and his guitar?
My hero.
Eh?
My hero.
Is he your hero?
Oh, yes.
Oh, is he?
Oh, very much so.
Right.
I'm a...
When did you you begin to get into the Beatles?
About 1972.
72, right.
And one of my favourite albums is Rubber Soul.
Right.
My favourite song is probably In My Life and Norwegian Wood.
Right.
But there's so many good songs on that album.
Yeah.
The whole album comes together for me, and it's like the production and the songwriting.
Yeah.
Because George Martin done an incredible job on that.
Yeah.
And the album after that was Revolver. And we know all the album after Revolver, don't we? Sgt. Pepper, were things, whoa.
Yeah. Well,
Like the Beach Boys heard that, and their first words were has-beens. Because they were renowned for the multi-tracking, etc., weren't they?
Yeah.
And when they heard Sgt. Pepper, it just blown them away. They couldn't understand it.
I know.
So, fantastic. So again, back to Paul McCartney's off now. How much would that guitar cost you without it being Paul McCartney's?
That guitar, I believe Kavanagh got it insured.
No, the actual guitar itself, you went to a shop and bought one of those and off now.
An Hofner. I'm not quite with you. How do you mean?
How much did it cost you to buy one of those today?
Oh, I see what you mean now. Yeah, goodness me. I thought you meant how much would that guitar cost itself? You just couldn't buy it. It's worth that much. But I reckon I don't know much about guitars and prices, but it was never an expensive guitar, even in the first place. Hofner made it as a novelty guitar, really, and of course Paul McCartney made it famous by just Paul McCartney playing it. And what the Beatles didn't want to do when they were very cleverly put together, the Beatles, and I don't know whether it was Brian Epstein's influence, but they never use Fender guitars, right? And because the Shadows use Fender guitars, so we couldn't use Fender guitars, so they had to find something different. And that's what they did. They went out and kind of bought.
Didn't George use a Gibson?
Yeah, Gibson. John found a Rickenbacker. Paul found his Hofner bass guitar.
And Ringo found his Premier.
Ludwig,
weren't they?
He went on to Ludwig.
He found his Ludwig.
Yeah, we all had Premier because they were British. And then all of a sudden, Ludwig started to become very popular.
Well, I had a Premier Olympic kit, believe it or not.
Did you?
Yeah, pearl blue.
Right.
In 1974.
Are you a drummer as well,
I was.
Diane?
I was.
No, you are a drummer, not was.
I don't think I was a very good one, but okay, I was a drummer.
Yeah, Olympic Premier were all right. That's what I had. I had an Olympic
With a silver
Premier.
snare.
Yeah. Yeah,
and a very uncomfortable drum stool as went with them.
Right.
And I went back.
I used my mum's Downing Room chair.
Well, the very first song there's two songs I learned, and one I gave up on, which was Dance for the Devil with Cozy Powell.
Right.
I gave up trying to learn that.
Oh, well, yeah.
But the other one I did learn and played in the band was Paper Lace, Billy Don't Be an Euro.
Oh, right.
Another song about a chocolate bar, Billy Don't Be an Euro. 1974, I think it was, on Bus Stop Records.
So that's where you go back.
Yeah, but I went to playing keyboards I started learning in 1987, and I went to the Royal College of Music in Liverpool where I'd done the course and ended up at grade 3. not very advanced.
Yeah.
But for me, it was something I'd done for myself. I played in a band for a while, but playing in bands is not me.
Yeah.
I'd rather be on the technical side, helping out with the sound desk, etc. I'm much happier there,
and
where nobody can see me.
And it shows as well. The expertise that you've got with producing live sound is amazing.
Well, it's just something I really enjoy. My art's really into it.
Great.
And something I enjoy. I've always enjoyed working with live bands.
Yeah.
When I was over at Liverpool doing the charity nights over there, most of the nights I helped bands out because they had problems and trying to fix it. Then I'll say, well, I think you've got a problem. Such a place. They look at me and think, well, would she know?
Yeah.
Then fine. And 9 times out of 10, I was right without looking, telling them what the problem is. One band was having serious problems with feedback on stage all the time.
Yeah.
And I said, have you got EQ on your actual fallback? And the monitor on stage said, yeah. I said, well, there's something wrong on your EQ. Because I don't think that's your main PA, it's coming back through your monitors. And when they checked the actual monitor amp, somebody had knocked the actual graphic, the top end up, and that's why it was feeding back. They've been trying to find it for weeks, and I found it in about 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yes, and Lanky Cats has got all this expertise.
You're stuck with me now, I'm not going.
You've joined in with us. Are we so lucky? How
unlucky. Unlucky.
How lucky are we? Yeah.
Could be unlucky, but it's one thing I enjoy. Being with live bands, helping out any way I can, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I love live music.
Yeah.
And I think there should be more of it, but the problem that I was saying before, there's not the places to do it, is there anymore?
Well, we've made a start with Lanky Cats, haven't we? Down at the Unity, and so if anybody fancies a good night out, it's every other Thursday, first and third of the month.
And it's on this Thursday?
And on this Thursday.
You can meet Bill down there. I'll be down there.
Oh, I'll definitely be looking forward if you can get down there. Just come and say who you are and we'll fit you in. And even if you're on your own as well, I want to try and make this point. We get several people coming in on their own. and it's perhaps it's a little bit easier for a man to be. You know, I'm not getting gender here, but if you're a woman on your own, don't hesitate. Right, come in, and I'll make sure you're not sat on your own. All right, that's a promise. So tell your friends and that if they fancy coming down on their own, you will not be on your own. So that's one of the other sides of Lanky Cats. We're looking after single people on their own.
I was nervous the first time I went down, but I went down with Anita.
Yeah.
And I was made very, very welcome.
Yeah.
I was asked my comments on the sound, which I said it was a bit harsh. I left it at that.
Yeah.
And then when I went down to the actual meeting, I was a bit nervous going on my own then. But you made sure I was sat well, and you sat next to me, so I knew somebody.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
at the times only you and Mick Cannon and you.
Yeah.
So I said to Mick, please don't leave me on my own.
Well, this is what we do. It's what we call the Lanky Cat spirit, and you come down and you'll be looked after. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a fun. If you ever get a chance to get down there, please go. So how long have you been drumming?
Drumming since I was in the Boys Brigade. Or should I say, Church Lads Brigade. Big difference. I don't know why, but when I joined the Church Lads Brigade.
Which one were you in?
I was in St James's in Poolstock. Yeah, which was it's attached to the school where I used to go.
I think a friend of mine runs that now.
Did he?
I think so. Yeah, Lynn. Someday I go back about 30 years, myself and Lynn.
Right.
And she went in the Boys Brigade as a young girl.
Right.
And she's worked her way through. Now she's one of the bosses.
Right.
And she's made up with it. She's really heavily involved with it, and she does amazing work, keeping the youngins off the street, etc.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So that's where you started drumming?
I just wanted to play this drum. As soon as I saw this snare drum, this side drum, I wanted to play it. Not that I had any kind of musical leanings or anything, I just wanted to play it. And then I found I could actually make the rhythms and gradually I learned how to play the side drum. It's as simple as that. And that was about 10 or 11 years old. And when I was 15, I was delegated to play solo drummer in the mass battalion bands of the Church Lads Brigade, Liverpool Diocese at Liverpool Cathedral. And we marched up and down with something like 200 musicians, bands, all the combined bands from the area, and I was solo drummer at 15.
That's amazing.
So that was my kind of first major gig in Liverpool.
That's fantastic, that, isn't it?
And so ever since I got my first kit, which was 2 drums, bass drum and snare, a hi-hat and a cymbal. And that's when I started. And that was a kit called a Beverley. You don't hear much of Beverley drums these days, but they're like everything else. They're all collector's items now. And I wish I could get hold of that same kit, but it was only very basic. And then I moved on to my Premier, and then I moved on to my Ludwigs in 1967, which I've still got.
Because they did at one time, I don't know if they still do or not, they've done oil-filled skins. Now there's a twin skin with oil in between.
Yes. I think it was somebody like Roger Taylor out of Queen that got that idea.
All right.
Somebody like him.
Yeah.
Certainly, because he wanted a nice, thick, flat sound.
Yes.
And a snare drum will ring forever,
Yeah.
very, yeah. But he wanted it flat as he could get it. And then you get a big sound out of it.
Yes,
and
that's
then,
right.
of course, you amplify it. You sound engineers love it, don't you?
Yeah.
Get all of that snare drum and then make it wow. And that's what the Queen sound was. And so I think it was Roger Taylor. Maybe it isn't. I apologise to the guy who ever invented it. But a thin film of oil between 2 laminates, in other words, and that's how he got his sound. Putting oil in.
But you can tell the difference in sound when you hear them, can't
Oh,
you?
yeah. They also cost like 45 times more than the ordinary, and they only last for 1 concert.
Do they?
Mm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Another thing I'm not seeing, another thing I should notice, I'm not seeing for years, where they have cymbals with little like loose rivets going through.
That's right. They're called a sizzle cymbal.
Right.
So it sizzles.
Yes.
Yeah. When you play it, and that it's just for a special effect.
Do they still
We
make
had them in the
those?
60s, yeah. We had them in the 60s.
I've not seen them from. They used to be in all the old Labour clubs, didn't they? At one time?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's what sound you're looking for. As a drummer, you might want, a small cymbal will give you a nice crash. A larger cymbal gives you a.
That's right. Yes.
So so they're choosing the cymbal sizes and of course the thickness of the metal. It's all very scientific.
Oh, definitely.
And that's what makes a good cymbal so expensive. And you need 3 or 4 of them, different sounds that you get out of them. So that's where it comes from. It's all about personal taste in what your sound and what the sound you want to create.
One of the unique sounds I've heard on drums is when on Jeff Lynne productions.
Yeah.
That they actually gets a hi-hat sound and a snare sound that's very unique.
Really?
If you listen to Yellow, that's some of the Jeff Lynne stuff.
Yeah.
Try listening to the snare.
Right.
I don't know how he does it, but it's so crisp.
Yeah.
And the actual hi-hat's crisp as well.
Yeah. That's an interesting comment because I'm going to now go home and put my Jeff Lynne records on, the Yellow records, and listen to that.
Listen to Yellow. Also listen Rock and Roll is King.
Yeah.
Yellow.
Yeah.
Things like that, because it's so unique. Then if you go and listen to stuff he done with, what do they call the last band with Roy Orbison?
Travelling
Wilburys, that's right. If you listen to their tracks, you can tell Jeff Lynne's production from that snare sound and the actual hi-hat sound. It's very crisp.
Yeah. Oh, these guys, they didn't just write songs, they invented new sounds. Well, they were inventing new ideas all the way through, weren't they?
Do you know how Jeff Lynne got into ELO?
No, I don't.
There's a story behind this. What happened was, Jeff Lynne was very clever in a band. They had no money. Then there was Roy Wood, who was in The Move. They had loads of money, and they went and bought a Moog, thinking, this will make us brilliant.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they had to play around that none of them could make it work properly. So they said, hang on, there's a lad down the road, Jeff Lynne. He's pretty good at things like this, but they can't afford one, but he knows all about them. So they went and got Jeff Lynne, brought him in, he had to play around and said, oh, you're in the band. Then after a while, Roy Wood decided he didn't want to in their avenue.
Yeah.
He wanted to go back to rock and roll type music.
Yeah.
And then Roy Wood left The Move. The Move changed the name to ELO.
Yeah.
And that's where that came from.
That's a great story. I'd heard that one.
Yeah, I didn't know up to a few years ago they did an interview on Radio 2.
Yeah.
And I thought that's really interesting.
The Moog synthesizer, I suppose, is one of the forerunners of, we had the electronic organ.
Yes.
That was, we all know about the Hammond and things like that. But for rock and roll, they wanted something different, didn't they?
They wanted a raunchy, something really gets you up.
Yeah, and I think one of the first bands I heard use it were the Beatles themselves. The Beatles used some kind of Moog synthesizers, but it was so temperamental and it's so difficult to work with. I think
the different settings.
I think they just kicked it into the local canal after a while because they got fed up a bit. But it certainly made its mark.
If you look at one, it's more like an old telephone exchange, isn't it, with all the wires and the different sockets for things. Because you had to route things through certain things to get certain sounds.
That's right, yeah. There's a guy at the back unplugging and plugging in, like a telephone exchange.
I had a conversation once with a DJ who was a drummer as well. And he's saying, where I am, he says, you're not really a sound engineer. I says, well, I am, yes. He says, no, you're not really, because I've toured the States. I've done proper tours in the States, doing the stadiums and everything like that, playing drums. I know what I'm talking about. He says, look, I'm not getting an argument with you. And when he wanted to copy some music card, I wouldn't let him copy it. And he got really snotty with me. Said, well, you're not really a sound engineer. So I thought, right, no problem. And the desk in the club where I was at that time was a Mackie, an early Mackie desk, and the routing on the desk was very complex. If you didn't know what you're doing, you wouldn't get any sound out of it. So when I finished work, I unrouted the desk, I put it to neutral and left it.
Right.
Then I got a phone call off this DJ the following day. I can't get the sound desk working. What have you done? I said, I've made it neutral like you're supposed to when you finish. Well, I can't get it working. I says, well, you're a sound engineer, I'm not. I'm sure you'll have no problems. Enjoy that. I thought that might teach him a lesson then.
You got him on that one.
So another experience I had was only a few weeks ago. I normally go in with Russ Winston to keep me busy. And we turned up at a venue, and this guy turned up and says, by the way, your microphone looks very cheap, Russ. And Russ said, Diane, how much is this microphone? I said, it costs 20 pence plus VAT. Russ said, yeah, it is cheap. Said, I've got a much better one if you'd like to use it. I said, well, it's a bit pointless because on these, half the speakers not working properly, they need replacing, etc., etc. It says, well, it will, I know what I'm talking about. I says, well, I know what I'm talking about. He says, yes, but I really know what I'm talking about. And I was about to say something, and Russ straight in and said, by the way, Diane's a sound engineer and also production with the BBC. She knows what she's talking about. And this guy sort of shut up and went away. And it turned out this guy was a student sound engineer. And we're talking later on and said, Russ said, I wonder his first job's going to be when he qualifies and gets his degree. I said, probably like the rest of the people with the degree, start off at McDonald's. So anyway, let's play some more music. Back with Bill in just a couple of minutes when I know which button to press.
Hi, this is Dean Parrish. You're listening to Diane's Request on Wrightington's Hospital Radio.
If you would like to contact the station for any reason, feel free to use the phone line on 01257 252 435. Alternatively, you can use the internal number 6361 with the permission of the staff. Or finally, you can text us on 079 091 97345.
That's Depeche Mode from 1982, but that sounds very much like the Beach Boys to me.
I know.
The production on that is very Beach. Do you agree with that? It's like the harmonies go along. The Depeche Mode, I thought one of the best songs they've done.
Yeah.
And that reminds me, at the time that I was working in Norway, in Oslo, and I was out and I heard that and I thought, that's an unusual song. It sounds very modern, but it's got a very old feel to it.
Yeah.
When I found it, I went out and bought it. So I thought, that's amazing. Anyway, we're going to the end of another show. It doesn't say 2 hours has flown, hasn't it?
I don't know where it goes.
I don't. It's all the same when you come on. You make it so interesting.
I hope it's gone well for the listeners as well. I mean, and everybody on the wards and dashing around, and you've taken a chill out. If you've listened to me and Diane, and and we've entertained you a little bit, and while away an hour or two.
Well, do you want to tell us what's happening in the future at the hospital radio?
Go on then. Tell me.
No, you tell them.
Tell me what's
your
happening.
news.
Well, my news is I've been invited to do some presenting by Diane. And Diane, she's going to be my producer, and we're going to start the show. It's not very far away. We're going to kind of get the summer months over and done with, and then look towards autumn and start producing a regular show Sunday evenings, and based on Lanky Beat, Lanky Cats.
An interview, you're getting people coming in?
I'm going to have musicians coming in and chatting about the bands that they used to play in, and we want to, and it's open, we're going to make it open to the old stagers like myself, and of course the young bands, and get the young bands in, get the young musicians in, and get them talking about what they're doing. It's and generally have a really good time doing it.
And I'm going to be starting in the next few weeks. I'm going to be starting a Sunday evening. Just warming it up, getting it built up for Bill when he takes over in the autumn, and I'm really looking forward to that. Just producing your show. Yeah,
fantastic. I'm so honoured to have such a wonderful person like Diane.
We're paying that £5, wasn't it? We're looking at that £5 early on to say that,
I know. Well, yeah.
Well, anyway, that's about it from myself this evening. Thank you to Jimmy for starting off the show tonight while I was going through a few things with Bill. Thank you to Beth and Dad for coming in. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, from Bill, it's...
Goodbye and good night and God bless.
And from myself, it's good night, God bless. From
Me, it's sit in bed.
And from my dad,
Good night.
Yeah, we'll talk to you all later. We'll leave this one. Thanks for joining us. Tomorrow night we've got Jimmy and his Motley Crew. He'll be down tomorrow night doing the show. I don't know what we can call Jimmy's lot. What can we call him, Jim? Motley Crew, all right. Jimmy and his Motley Crew. His bunch of... his Motley Crew's a good one on Thursday. We've got Natalie Louise. Friday, I think Chris is down. I'm back with you next Tuesday. And we'll probably have something happening, but I don't know what yet. I've not decided. I'm going to leave you this one. From all of us here, good night, God bless. Hope you're soon well and on your way home. Good night.
Tonight I'm gonna
playing the best of yesterday and today. Your station, your music, 24 hours a day.
I am what I am, and what I am needs no excuses. I was made for loving you, baby. You were made for loving me. Give me hope, Joanna, hope before the morning.
Playing the best of yesterday and today. This is your station. Wrightington Hospital Radio.